If you look at the image, it is beautiful. It has a nice texture to it. It's really hard to tell whether this was screen printed or if this was done with our printers. All the details are there. It is just flawless. I love this, guys.
Transfer superstars with the fabric we imprinted. Transfer superstars, yeah, we
What's up, superstars? On today's video, we're gonna be diving into the world of Kittle to help us with some designing. We're actually gonna be putting together an ugly Christmas sweater just in time for the holidays. Now, I'm really excited about this project because you really can't go wrong with designing an ugly Christmas sweater. As long as it's attention grabbing, wacky, and of course, ugly, that's the most important way. We're gonna be wanting to challenge ourselves with the DTF printing process, so we're gonna be trying to print something a little bit challenging. So we're gonna pick out some prompts and we're gonna take a look at some tools inside Kittle to show you guys how easy it is to use. Lastly, I did want to mention the ugly Christmas sweater is something that's important and special to me because, believe it or not, that's how I got into the apparel space 11 years ago. We didn't know what we were doing. We're trying to design and find something viral. We hit something in the holidays and it sold out. So we continue to sell clothing, and look at us today. We're here producing transfers for you guys. So make sure you guys are out there putting together designs and seeing where it can take your brand to. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into Kittle. We'll show you guys exactly how easy it is to design your designs today. Even if you guys are not a designer, Kittle's web-based design tool is so easy to use that literally anybody can start designing. So make sure you guys check out the link below if you guys haven't checked out Kittle before. Let's talk briefly about the design criteria that we're shooting for today. I'm gonna shoot for something like a streetwear style, something that's a little bit more modern than what you normally see out there. I might be going into Amazon to get some inspiration for some top sellers. We're gonna try to aim for something with a bad Santa, something that's a little bit funny, find something that has a funny text as well, and maybe add some snowflake designs to keep that old school vintage ugly Christmas sweater design. So let's head on over to Kiddo. Let's take a look at that and let's design today. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna head on over to Kittle. I do have the premium account, so I'm able to remove backgrounds, use a bunch of their AI tools and all that good stuff. So again, make sure you guys take a look at that if you guys haven't already. Now, let's go ahead and head into the new projects when we're in Kittle, and let's go ahead and start setting up our settings. I wanna set up the artboard so that we can create the right design size so that you're gonna be able to execute something that's gonna be nice. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and choose the t-shirt artboard size. That kind of gives us a good starting point. I'm gonna change the resolution to 300. And personally for me, I like to work in inches, so I'm gonna keep that in inches. The artboard is pretty big. It's at 157 by 180 inches, which is large, which is not gonna be a problem because I'd rather start for something large and then downsize afterwards. So that's what I'm going to start with here. Let's start looking at some designs. So as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna use some of Kittle's AI prompt features and we're just gonna see what artwork that we can get. I'm gonna look for something that's vibrant, something that's quirky and funny. Let's start off with just a simple prompt of Bad Santa. So let's start generating and see what options we get. Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm not a natural born graphic designer. I'm more into sales and also project management, but with tools like Kittle, it really allows anybody to be able to use this. So that's the beauty of it. So again, excuse me if my designs are not the greatest. It's just something that we can play with and learn together. So let's go ahead and see what results we end up with. So right there, I went ahead and did that. Did Bad Santa, but I don't see anything that's generating. So let's see, oh, generate. Oh, there you go. Something came out earlier, but that's not what I want. Let's see, Kittl AI images. I want to see something that possibly has been already designed with, and I'm just gonna search their database because I didn't really like what came out with the prompts there. So get rid of that as well. Here, this one is pretty, it's more like a photorealism image. Looks pretty cool. Guy kind of like Post Malone, tatted up on his face with a leprechaun feel to it. Looks like a pretty bad Santa to me. I'm gonna use this. I think it's a pretty good and funny and popping image to start off with. So first thing I probably wanna do is to remove the background, or I can upscale it. Either way works, but let's try to just remove the background first to see what I'm getting. All right, so I got the image generated. I got the background removed. Next thing I probably want to do is to give it a black background so that I can start designing, because it is going to go on a black sweater, so it's going to be in, I'm going to change it to a black, just like that. Since I'm going to be putting white text to it, I want to be able to see it during the designing. So here is going to be the starting template here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a prompt. I'm going to look for some text. Let's go ahead and head on to Amazon to get some inspiration. I'm going to do ugly Christmas sweater men, and let's start looking at some designs. I'm going to try to see if I can find some text that looks pretty cool. This one's been pretty played out. Filthy animals, pretty played out. Now this is specific to this design, so I'm not going to do that. This is pretty cool right here. I see dead inside but jolly AF. I think that's going to be pretty funny, and it's going to match this design pretty well. So let's start creating some text. I'm just going to click on the text box right here in the corner, add a headline, and that will start off right there. It's pretty small, but I'm just going to go dead inside. I'm going to highlight the whole thing, or Control A, and let's just go ahead and increase the size on that. So let's just move that up. I can resize that to 200. Does that work? Yeah, there you go. Let's bring it up. Okay, so the text is, I'm going to change it to white so I can visibly see it. I'm probably going to want to increase this text even larger and bigger. Let's just do this at 500 or even 1,000. Let's try 1,000 just for now. And then I can always mess around with it afterwards. But let's just go ahead and raise that up because I do want that into one row. And what I'm going to do is let's choose a font. So I'm just going to find a font that looks pretty popular and matches the streetwear design. So let's just see. So I kind of like this Black Ops, kind of stood out for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this Black Ops. Let's just decrease the size just a little bit. I think that's pretty good. And I can go ahead and click this and that'll center that. I can also use this to center, and that's there. What I can do at this point is, because I want to use the same font here, I'm just going to go ahead and carry this over. I'm just clicking on Alt on my keyboard, and then Shift will keep it locked in. Alt will allow me to go back and forth, so that's just some hotkeys. And then I'm going to let go right here. And then right here, I'm going to double click, because I want to change the text on the bottom. I'm going to go, but jolly AF. And I think that looks pretty cool. And let's just go ahead and space it out a little bit. And then let's go ahead and click this centering. And there you go. It is centered. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start generating some snowflakes, because that is something that's needed in ugly Christmas sweaters. So we're just going to go ahead and click on images, search up snowflake, and this is going to be the one that I'm going to use. It's currently in black, so let's go ahead and select that and let's make it white. All right, now one of the things I noticed that I do want to shrink this down. The smallest you can go is 1 inch technically, but let's just go ahead and bring it down. If I click on this edge here, I can just bring it down until I like it. So as of right now, I'm not going to worry too much about the width and inches, because I can resize the whole thing afterwards. I'd rather design and get it perfect first before I resize the whole thing to scale. So let's just go ahead and use this snowflake. I think that's a good size for me. What I'm going to do next is I want to duplicate this. So I'm just going to move it here to where I want to start off at. And I'm going to try to click Alt. And then see, if I click Alt, it moves everywhere. Alt Shift allows me to move this and keep this at the right space. So I like that. I don't know quite how to duplicate this all in a row like Control D I would normally do on Adobe, but I'm just going to use this hotkey right here, which is Alt and Shift, to shift and design this together. That looks pretty good to me right there. As far as spacing, I'm gonna go ahead and add another snowflake, maybe something that's more green to match this. So let's see. There, this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna grab this right here. Let's go ahead and upscale this before I remove the background. So I wanted it to be nice and crisp using their AI tools. And now that it is vectored, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the background. Again, one simple click, which is super easy to use. It also trims out any of the white space. And let's go ahead and size this down. I want this smaller than the white. I think that's a pretty good size too. Let's bring this up right here. It's a little bit small, so I'm gonna click Alt to zoom in a bit. And then I think that's pretty good placement. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing, hit Alt, hit Control, and that'll allow me to duplicate this layer. I like these three, so I'm just gonna grab the whole thing and duplicate it. Again, if I can do the same thing, Control Z is to undo anything. And I'm just gonna bring this out right here. And then when I'm almost there, I'll just bring these three here. All right, there you go. Let's bring this down a bit. And then now I'm gonna copy this whole thing and then shift it down. I think this one could be brought down just a little bit. All right, see that middle point came through. That shows me that everything is centered. And I like this so far. So I'm gonna copy this whole chunk right here and bring this down right here. And I'm gonna bring this up because I don't need it like that. And now of course I can always click center there and that'll help me center that image. Let's bring this up right here, like that. So I think that looks pretty good so far. I might want to decrease the size just a tad bit. Fills in a little bit better. There you go. So far so good. I like the way it looks. I'm gonna bring this down just a tad bit. And then last thing I'm going to do is I want this backspace right here to have a bunch of snowflakes. So I'm gonna copy this, bring it down. I'm gonna resize this a little bit smaller, move this down. I'm gonna copy this over again. I'm gonna make this even smaller. Let's just go ahead and zoom into the design. Click Alt and I can start scrolling and that'll allow me to zoom in closer to the design. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use these snowflakes to kind of create a pattern. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it like that. Click this one over like that. Bring this over like that. So that's the pattern that I'm going to run with. And let's go ahead and center the design. At this point, let's go ahead and move this guy out of the way for a second so that I can focus on, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on the design. All right, so let's go ahead and realign this artboard in the middle. Let's go ahead and zoom in so we can see this clear. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this template over. So let's just go ahead and duplicate the same thing over and over here. So I can just copy this huge chunk afterwards. There's gotta be an easier way to do this, but again, guys, I'm not an expert at this, so I am just doing the bare bones to show you guys how easy it is without any design knowledge. So let's go ahead and do that like that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's just go ahead and shift this down the middle a little bit. And then let's make it smaller so that it is, oops, I don't want to do that. Control Z. Okay, there you go. I think that's okay. Actually, there you go. So I'm going to just hold this here. Select there, and then let's go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. There you go. All right, so I'm satisfied with this so far. I want to go ahead and highlight these part of the, oops, there you go. And then I'm going to click again, Alt Shift. That'll duplicate this part for my pattern. I'll do the same thing over and over again. All right, that's pretty good spacing there. Let's highlight the text on the bottom. Let's bring this up like so. And then last thing what we're gonna do, oops, what happened? Okay, last thing we're gonna do is move the Santa back over. You guys can see the Santa is in the back, so I'm going to click on the three dots right here, and I'm gonna click to the front, and that makes the Santa right on in front of the template. I'm gonna click on the middle portion to help it realign right there. And man, it looks like snow, looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way it is so far. So last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna resize the whole thing. So let's select the whole board and let's go ahead and go to the size. And I'm gonna go ahead and do 12 inches because that's all I need is 12 inches wide on this particular design. 12 by 17.7 is the results that I'm getting. And once you're in this particular point, you can go ahead and export this. So let's go ahead and click download, and what you're doing here is it's at 300 resolution, it's in inches, it's going to be export quite big. I actually don't want the artboard in the back, so let's just go ahead and turn off that. Oops. Let's just go ahead and download the whole thing as is, because when you are downloading this, you can actually, if you have the premium account, you can go ahead and remove the background with that click, and it's going to be usable for what you're trying to do. So go ahead and hit download. You don't want to, one thing to keep in mind, you don't want to export a small image and then again have to resize later, because again that loses quality when you're getting ready to print this. So next thing I'm going to do is head over to Transfer Superstars. Again guys, we do heat transfer, so if you need a transfer provider, make sure you head on over to our website. We got free sample packs, we got a Gangsheet Builder, anything that you need regarding your transfers, we got you guys. So I'm going to choose our minimum gang sheet, which is only our 22 by 12 sheet. I'm going to start a brand new gang sheet. If you want to save your designs, your gang sheets, make sure you create an account. You can always refer back to it for easy ordering. Now that I have the Gangsheet Builder open, I'm going to go ahead and upload our artwork. Let's go ahead and click on the gallery or upload. Let's go ahead and just upload. Now, PNGs work best on the Gangsheet Builder. It's nice and easy. So let's go ahead and click that. But I think this is going to be a problem. So our Gangsheet Builder shows when there is low resolution images. So you guys can see there's a red outline here. That means the image is low res. I did not export it correctly. I'm gonna delete this and let's do this over again. I think the problem happened earlier when I was resizing the artwork. So let's go back to that image. Where is it? So let's go back and find the image. There you go. And I'm not going to make the mistake by resizing it here. I'm just going to go ahead and download it as is in its largest size so that I can retain the highest quality. So again, going backwards, I did not go in here to resize to 12 inches. Let's just download it the way it is right now. So that's one benefit again of our Gangsheet Builder. It tells you the DPI resolution. If in case you have some low resolution, you want a higher resolution. And you see that now it's a 40 megabyte file. It is much bigger than 2 megabytes, so I'm gonna get a better result this way. So let's go ahead and upload the artwork. So let's go ahead and, or on our Gangsheet Builder, let's go ahead and click X here. I don't want that one. I'm gonna go ahead and upload 62, which is the newest one. And it's taking a little bit longer to load, which is a good sign because it is a bigger file and you're gonna get higher resolution. Once it's at 100, it should generate right onto the gang sheet. Now the gang sheet is good for single images or multiple images. In this case, I'm gonna maximize the sheet because I want a very oversized print for this job. So I'm gonna use the whole 12 inches wide here. All right, let's go ahead and bring this inside the builder. You just need to click once. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this sideways like that. That way I can bring this up. And you can tell right now that the width is actually 19 and then the height is at 29. So what I'm going to do is resize this to 12 inches in height, 12 inches. Again, I'm moving a little bit quick, but you want to make sure that you're doing the resizing before you rotate because the width is locked once you actually upload the artwork, the original artwork. So that's why it's set like that. So let's decrease just a little bit so that it'll fit on our gang sheet, like so. And once it's good to go ahead and save this gang sheet. You can name this today's date, for example, like so. And then you can go Bad Santa, and then it'll save this into your account so that you can always refresh and load this and reorder more if needed. Now go ahead and make your checkout and then we'll go ahead and get this printed. Our current turnaround is roughly about 2 business days. We print pretty quickly here and we ship all around the United States. So if you guys have any orders, make sure you guys check with us. We'd love to take a look at your project. Even if you don't print with us and you need somebody to look at your artwork, we're more than glad to do so. So go ahead and order from our website. Again, 2 business days. Let's go and check out the transfers. Guys, this is how your gang sheet looks. It's a big design, but this is how it looks vertically placed. Let's go and take a closer look at it. So again, the details are pretty cool. It was AI generated. They already used it, so I didn't have to use any prompts through Kittle. And the artwork looks great, looks very, very real. You've got all the little details from the snowflakes through. You've got the green through here. Overall, it looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and take a look at the sweater that we're gonna be using today. We're gonna be using a Gildan G180. This is one of the cheapest and best sweaters out there. I wouldn't say best, but best value. I think this is less than $7 for a sweatshirt. So that's a pretty good price. You can definitely check them out. You can get them from suppliers like Alfred Broder if you need to. So check out the link below in case you guys need it. But again, this is a very good value sweater. We're gonna be using our Prisma 16x20 heat press. I really like this press because it is not only big, but it has pressure controls, auto release, has a slide out table, just something really easy to use. We're also gonna be using our laser alignment tool to get this centered. Now, if you guys have not seen this yet, it is available on our website. You can move it around to different locations, to different presses. But what I like about this is it doesn't get in the way of you working, and it keeps things nice and centered and in the middle. So I have my heat press firing up currently. It is about 212 degrees. So not quite there yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it prepped up and ready. Now, again, I have this normally set at 2.5 inches. That's usually the recommended distance from the neck, usually between 2.5 to 3 inches. It really depends on the size and what you're trying to do, but I'm not going to pay too much attention to that. I'm basically going to use the middle point here because I'm going to be adjusting the design at least an inch higher because of the texture and the snowflake on top. So let's go ahead and get this aligned. It is centered now. I'm gonna go ahead and move this into place so that I can do a quick pre-press. Reason why you wanna do a pre-press is you wanna take out all the moisture that's left into the apparel. It also gives it a nice flat surface so that the transfer goes cleanly on top of it. So let's bring this back into place. We're gonna go ahead and get our transfer. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold this in half briefly, and I'm gonna line up the snowflakes. Basically, I want marking for the midpoint, so you guys can see that. And then I'm gonna crease the top as well as the bottom. The reason why I'm doing this is so that it gives me the center point. If I'm just basing this off of Santa's head, it's gonna be a little bit off. So I'm gonna use these as a measurement guide to get me into the center. Let's go ahead and place this here. Now again, normally you would have your design lower, but because it is a ugly Christmas sweater and you've got a bunch of little snowflakes everywhere, I am limited in where I can move this to. So I'm gonna bring this quite high. All right guys, so everything is set, everything is in place. I'm gonna go ahead and get this pressed. Let's go ahead and press. Now we have this at heavy pressure. Ours show 9, so that's gonna be at heavy pressure. Automatically pops up. Let's go ahead and pull this out. So I'm gonna grab a microfiber cloth. This is not necessary, but it's something that I like to do when I'm dealing with a lot of fine details, especially all these snowflakes here. You just wanna make sure that everything is going to be nice and flat, and it helps cool it down and regulate the temp as well. So once that's set, go ahead and let it cool, and we can go ahead and peel. All right, let's go ahead and peel. Again, I'm not gonna peel up. The trick is to use one hand to hold the garment down. You're gonna use this, peel it, and then you're gonna move it sideways like so. So it peels off like that. Flatten it down. All right, so we're gonna finish off with our second press. We're gonna be using our matte finishing sheet. If you guys haven't checked this out yet, I really like this because it gives it kind of like a screen printed feel afterwards. So you'll get a chance to see the matte that happens after. So let's go ahead and put it back in for a second press. We also do this for 7 seconds. All right, let's remove this. Let's pull this out so that you guys can see the texture and how it looks. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it down so that it is nice and still and doesn't move for the camera. Let me go ahead and rearrange this.
All right, guys, take a look at it. So all the snowflakes, all the little details came through. If you look at the image, it is beautiful. It has a nice texture to it. Kind of reminds me of a screen print. If anybody was to tell you, it's really hard to tell whether this was screen printed or if this was done with our printers. All the details are there. It is just flawless. I love this, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna hold this up against me. Look at that. I did this in a few minutes, guys, so super easy. If you guys haven't already checked out Kiddo, make sure you guys check them out. Download it, play around with it. You'll know how easy it is to design. I have a lot of folks that have been using Adobe for a long time, and even then they have a hard time designing. And with Kittle, there's a lot of easy to use templates so that anybody can jump in and use that to design. And if you guys need transfers, guys, check out Transfer Superstars. We are one of the leaders in DTF printing, so if you guys need any transfer needs, make sure you guys check us out. We'll have a link below. Use our Gangsheet Builder, save you some time, save you some money. My name is Phil. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one.